Hello, everyone. Welcome to Or This. This is my Monday morning quarterbacking of the scriptures and the sermon for the previous Sunday, and this video is for Sunday, December 3rd. The scriptures assigned for the day, which was the first Sunday of Advent, were Isaiah 64, verses 1 through 9, Psalm 80, verses 1 through 7 and 17 through 19. The second reading was 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 3 through 9, and the Gospel was Mark chapter 13, verses 24 through 37. There are going to be times when I share something that might be thought-provoking or profound, or, well, I hope once in a while I come up with something profound, but something that make us think and give us a chance to reflect on things. But one of the things I wanted to share today is actually a question that I have from the gospel in particular that I don't have an answer for. And it's a good reminder that sometimes we won't have answers for the questions we have about the scriptures. And I'm looking at the passage from Mark. It is a passage where Jesus talks about his coming again. And what I found interesting was, so Jesus is describing his coming again, the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. And then he says about, from the fig tree learn its lesson, as soon as its branches become tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. Basically saying that, there are signs of things happening. The summer, it happens when the leaves start blossoming, when the trees start blossoming leaves. And so Jesus says, so also when you see these things taking place, know that he is near at the very gates. And then he proceeds to say, truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Okay, except that we're reading this now, and it says, and obviously that generation has long gone, and Jesus has not returned in the way we're expecting him to return. Then later on it says, but about that day or hour no one knows, neither the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. So I found it interesting. It sounds like he's basically saying that he doesn't even know at that point, standing there, he doesn't know when the second coming will be. And I just found it interesting. If he doesn't know when the second coming will be, how could he have said, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place? So there's a bit of a mystery, I guess you could say, that I don't really have an answer for. But as I said, he does say about that day or hour no one knows, neither the angels nor the Son, but only the Father. So at least Jesus, as he stands there in human flesh, doesn't know, he can't tell anybody when he will come again. Now, the risen Christ, who is in the presence of God, knows, as part of the Godhead, the Trinity. At least that's my understanding, my belief. But because the Son is part human here, I would say that's the reason why he says the Son doesn't know when that day or hour will be. But it's just interesting. It was just kind of strange. So that was one thing that kind of struck me as I was reading the reading this weekend. Now I'll refer to something that might be a little bit more helpful for you, but I think that's a good thing for you to see, that even sometimes as pastors, regardless of how many times we've read these things, sometimes there's certain things that catch us and are like, wait a second, what? What does that mean? I don't really understand I don't understand how that's possible. So we have that as pastors as well. And the other thing that I wanted to point out was I just really like this image that is used in the passage from Isaiah. Towards the end of the passage, it says, "Yet, O Lord, you are our Father. We are the clay and you are our potter. We are all the work of your hand." I really like that imagery. God is the potter and we are the clay. And God is molding us. I talked a couple weeks ago about worship being formational. Worship is, our experience of worship, of being in worship, is meant to form us in faith. And that's kind of what this image is that God is forming us, molding us into whatever shape pot we're going to be. God is, it's not just like, okay, God made us to and send us in the world, then there you go. But that idea that God is the potter and we are the clay, and God molds us. So, pretty cool imagery from the Isaiah passage this week. Very interesting question in the gospel passage this week. That's what I have for you this week. So feel free to share your comments, your thoughts on what I said, your questions that you might have on the passages from this week that I may or may not have a response for, or anything you have to share about the sermon. Please feel free to include those in the comments, and thank you for watching. God bless.